Oh, just getting ready for what's happening here. We bound to the news all the time, and
Les, okay. Nice of you to come. You're absolutely on time.
Oh, be good to be here, man.
So, how is everybody? Well,
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem. John, are you?
Yes. Baruch Hashem, I'm well. I can't walk, but I'm fine.
Fine. Okay, good. So, to continue to be fine.
And
All
how are
right.
you, Rav? How are you?
Yeah, well, listen, I'm going through different checkups to find out what is the cause of my pain and so on. Don't know, you know what's Doppler? Doppler kind of, what do you call it? Yes.
Where do you
Any
have a
kind
pain?
of physical, medical examinations to
So where
find
do you
out
have the pain? In the legs?
what?
Do you have your pain in the legs?
No, I've got pain everywhere that you want. My knees, I got difficulties to climb up steps or come down.
Right.
Get,
I know it.
if it is a straight road, I can manage, but otherwise it's with pain. I'm taking everyday painkillers.
Oh, shame.
And what else? Got problem with my back. And anyhow, as I said, Baruch Hashem, that keeping alive. If I wouldn't have pain, I wouldn't know if I'm alive.
That's right. Rather without the
And,
pain.
and
Rather
there is a
without the pain.
price, and there is a price. Unfortunately, not many of my mates of friends of my age and so on that are still around. So I mustn't complain. I must just try to cope. That it is. Mirz Hashem, Baruch Hashem, I manage. And how all of you? Okay, good.
Thank God all well, Rabbi.
Beseder. So now we can start. You remember we are in Masechet Sotah, and we are on page 25A, A4.
Yeah.
25A4. The last week that we were talking about, just to recap, was a process, just to bring it back the subject that we are dealing with this woman, that she is accused by her husband not to be faithful, that she has a relationship, he suspects. So there is all proceedings and process how to deal with it. If in fact she did committed adultery, then he must divorce her. If she didn't, then if he won't, he may keep her. If doesn't mean to say that he must keep her, because we are talking, as I mentioned, I think last week, we are talking at the time of the Gemara, in the olden times, a person could have divorced his wife without any kind of excuses, no reasons. I don't like her anymore. He goes to the building, give her a get, and they're divorced. If he does so, then he, beside what the financial conditions, what he owes or whatever, but there is one thing that was the whole time in every marriage, the husband undertakes to pay a ksuba. So if there is no reason for him to divorce, he must pay. However, since a decree was made by Rabbeinu Gershom, which is, don't know, 2,000 years ago, no, less, that a person cannot divorce his wife unwillingly unless there is a good reason, which the halacha stipulates what are the reasons. The one reason is, of course, if she commits adultery. So this actually the whole subject in this tractate, at least in the chapters that we are dealing with. So last week was a discussion. What happened? The husband suspects her. So he warns her. He said, listen, I don't want to be secluded with this person. It's called kinui. A warning. If, nevertheless, she doesn't adhere, then the next step, the husband takes her to Yerushalayim, to Jerusalem, to the temple, and then she drinks the bitter water. And the process, we said, what the Kohen in Yerushalayim, then he make her aware what are the consequences and if she is guilty and so on. But the whole thing starts with a warning. He has to warn her, I don't want you to be secluded in another man. If she doesn't obey, then goes the other process. Now the question that we discussed last week, what happened? The husband warned her. He said, I don't want you to be with this person. In other words, and afterwards, he thinks to himself, look, I love her. Do I really want her to depart? Maybe I'm just the Mishugais that I suspect. So he decided to withdraw the warning. And this was the discussion last week. Is he able to withdraw the warning? Because after you already warned her, then there is a suspicion she might have been committed adultery, and if she did commit adultery, then she can't live with her. He has to divorce her. So this was a discussion last week. If you still have any memory of that.
Yeah.
Now, so the Gemara finished off by saying about 3 cases that warning can be withdrawn. This as I said, the third part in 25 A4. So he said, one of the rabbis says, Rabbi Shiur, he says, when I came to my colleagues in the South, now before, in the beginning, I just want to repeat quickly, in the top of the page of 25A4, so the question was, the third line says, Rabbi Yoshaya said one of the men of Jerusalem told me the following three things. In the case of a husband who cancels his warning is cancelled. Number two, in the case of rebellious sage, whom the High Court wishes to pardon, they may pardon him. The third case, in the case of a rebellious son whose parents wish to pardon him, they may pardon him. So this is one opinion. However, the next passage says that his friends, his colleagues, agreed with him on two, about the Sotah, the husband can withdraw, cancel the warning, and the second one, that about the sage, if the Beis Din wants to cancel the warning, them talking about the rebellious sage against the Beis Din, and there is all terrible things there, but the Beis Din can forgive him and cancel. And the third, on the case of the Beis Din, they can't cancel. Why? So the disputes will not proliferated in the nation of Israel, because otherwise you don't have any assurance that you can keep the law. If every sage will say something else, so there is not. But the case of the husband, the Gemara concluded, if the husband cancelled his warning is cancelled. So this was the conclusion last week. You saying something?
No,
Les, you are talking? I can't hear.
he's muted, Rav. You can carry on.
Okay. So the Gemara now continues. This was if he cancelled the warning. Now the discussion, he wondered, she secluded with a person in spite of the warning. Now, after she already secluded, now the husband wants to withdraw. Is he able to do or not? So you can see the end of the first column, 25A4. Ravacha and Ravina disagreed about it. One said that if husband revoked the warning before the seclusion, it is cancelled, as we said. But if revoked it after the seclusion, he can't cancel it. Then the process must continue regardless if the husband wants to cancel, no, it has to go. But the other rabbi, he said that even if he revoked it after the seclusion, it is also cancelled. So this is the dispute. Now Gemara comes to analyze who is right. Said the Gemara, it is reasonable to rule in accordance with the one who said that if he revoked the warning after the seclusion, it is not cancelled. On what basis? The Gemara, based on what the rabbis answered to Rabbi Yossi. We learned in the Braita, Rabbi Yossi Omer, Rabbi Yossi says, so he says like this. He wants to say that the husband can cancel Mikal Vachomer from a logical, based on a logical argument. What happened if a woman becomes a nida? Then they are not allowed to cohabit with her. Said the Gemara, Uma nida. In the case of a nida, who is prohibited on pain of karet. In other words, what mean pain of karet? Means that if they cohabit while she's in nida, there is a karet. Karet, this is a punishment, not a best din, but there is a punishment comes from heaven. There's got sequences. She might die in early age. And so what happened? If she is a nida, he's not allowed to cohabit with her.
Remind us, please, Rabbi, what is a nida?
Sorry?
Would you remind us what is a nida?
Nida is when a woman administrates, a woman when she ministrates.
I see. Thank you.
Then they forbid to have any sexual relationship until the time over, and then she has to go to the mikveh. But at the time, if they cohabit, then there is a punishment of karet, which is quite a heavy punishment. In such a case, he doesn't have to divorce her, but he's not allowed to have any sexual relationship, and he's trusted with her that we don't say to him that he must move out and so on. We trust that they won't have. So this is nida. Said the Gemara, when a Sotah, a case of the Sotah, we subject only to negative commandments, not to karet, less punishment. If she really was guilty of having a relationship with another person, then they are not allowed to cohabit, and if she does, then there is a punishment of was it called malkot, cuts. So if we say that they are trusted in the case of a nida, we can trust them that they won't cohabit. How much more, certainly, that he should be trusted in the case of the Sotah, because Sotah, the punishment, is less, is only a negative commandment. The punishment is cuts, not heavenly cut off. So this is what Rabbi Yossi wanted to say, a logical proof that you can trust the husband in the case of a Sotah, so therefore he should be able to cancel the warning that the fact that she's secluded. But Amrulo, the rabbis argued with him and say no. The Kal Vachomer is, this logical argument is invalid. Why? In case with the nida he is trusted, why? That he saw because she has a time when she will be permitted to him. Nida is a period after menstruation, they're all 7 days or whatever. He knows that he will be able, after a time, to cohabit with her. But with the Sotah, a bat Sotah will never be permitted. If he warned her and she secluded, she must drink. He can't. So the more I want to say, therefore, you learn from a nida that he can't really revoke. Well, and the Gemara continues. The Gemara says, if you say that even he revokes the warning after seclusion, he can cancel, then how can the Gemara make this logical derivation for Menida to say, because if he can revoke, that a Sotah also at a time when she'll be permitted. In case, if he wants, he can cancel his warning and cohabit with her even after she's secluded. But the mere fact that the rabbis made this comparison between a nida and Sotah, that in nida, the nida, the husband is trusted that during the time she's nida, that they won't cohabit. So we say, how much more he be trusted in the case of Sotah, which the punishment is less. But if you say he can revoke the warning in a Sotah, then it is, you can't make this logical comparison, because the Sotah also is something which can be permitted, like if revokes it, like in the case of a nida. So this is what the Gemara said. Learn from this brighter, if he revokes the warning after the seclusion, it is not cancelled, because otherwise the whole logical argument falls away. Is it clear? Logic. Kal v'chomer. Again, we say, I repeat, Kal v'chomer is that you compare two subjects and you show that if something that a person committed some sin for which there is a heavy punishment, and nevertheless it can be permitted, how much more if a person commits a less severe sin that he will also be able to revoke. But if the Braita doesn't take this, they say that the case of a nida is more serious case, which cannot have any and can have a permission, because as I said, after the time passes by, then we allowed to them to be together. Surely the Braita says with the Sotah, which is a less severe sin, should also be permitted. But the case is that Sotah is not permitted after he warns her and she's secluded. So we see from this, you can see that in fact he cannot cancel the warning after she been secluded. He cannot revoke he can't cancel it. So this is what the Gemara had the question, and the Gemara tried to prove logically how to solve the question, the problem. Now the Gemara continues with the next case in the Mishnah. What happened? Now we are going to the second stage. It was a warning, seclusion. Now the next, he didn't revoke, he didn't. Now the second stage, to prove whether she is guilty or not, they have to go, she has to have to drink the bitter water. What happened? The Mishnah says, if the husband died before she drank the bitter water, so what the problem? There is no husband, so what the problem? The problem is, obviously there is no point to drink, because the drink of the water comes only to prove whether she can continue in the marriage, to be permitted to him, so there's no point to drink. But does she lose a ketubah? Because in the case when a woman is a Sotah, she was warned, she is secluded, there is no ketubah unless it's proof that she is not guilty. Now it remains in a doubt. You can't prove that she is guilty or not guilty because she doesn't drink the water. Does she lose the ketubah or not? This is the subject under discussion. You follow?
Yeah.
So here there is a dispute between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Bet Shammai says, although a widow does not drink the waters, she collects her ksubas. It means not a sotah. A good marriage, the husband dies, obviously she is deserved to collect the ksuba from the husband's estate. But Hillel rule that, so therefore Bet Shammai says, then in case of when the husband died, in the case of the Sotah, also she collects And Bet Hillel rules that she forfeits the ksuba. Then the Gemara isolates the point of contention. What are the point of the disagreement? It's an interesting principle here. They say a star, a document that awaits collection, is regarded as though it is nearly already collected, which means if somebody, let's say, has got a debt, there is a document that I owe a certain amount of money to A to B. Of course, this is a proof there is a debt, he has to pay. What will happen if he died? Obviously, the creditor can demand. And the Gemara says, although now there is no proof, did he pay or did not pay? The law says that the creditor has got the claim. So the Gemara says, according to Bet Shammai, according to the rule, the wife is already in possession of the properties recorded in her husband, and therefore, if the husband's heirs seek to deprive her of those properties, the burden of proof is on them that she is not entitled to. This is Bet Shammai. On the other hand, Bet Hillel, now I'm turning the page, Bet Hillel, they hold, no, it's not so that a document that awaits collection is not regarded as how it's already collected. It's still a debt. It has to be proven if the debt is still exists or not. So consequently, the widow is not in possession of the properties recorded in her ksuba, and therefore she can't collect them unless she proves her claim. So this is the discussion, and whether the husband died, is he entitled to receive the ksuba?
Rav, just to clarify, in my mind, is Beit Shammai saying that the inheritors have to claim from her for her to get the contract, whereas Hillel is saying she has to claim that she is in possession of what was ever promised by not having committed adultery. Is that the difference?
She has now to prove that she due to get the debt. Beit Shammai said the very fact that there is a document is already like collected already.
She owns it. She owns the
But then it has to be materialized.
yeah.
So if the husband died, it's enough the document to prove that the heirs must pay the ketubah.
Even if she doesn't drink,
Sorry?
she doesn't have to drink in that case.
So in Bet Hillel say no.
No, I'm talking about Beit Shammai. She doesn't have to drink in any case
Shammai
whatsoever.
said it doesn't have to go further, that since it was like collected, then only now you have to materialize the collection, the debt.
Okay.
They didn't say no. It's not, now it's still the proof on air. In the case of the husband is dead, there is a debt of ksuba. It has to be proven that she's entitled to. So this the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel, and the Gemara
Shammai seems to be more lenient.
well, I don't know what you call more lenient. Depends.
Well, she doesn't have to prove anything.
Which side you take? But you take the side of the woman, then she has to prove. So not lenient. Or you take the side of the husband, the deceased. They say she doesn't have to prove, they have to pay.
Yeah.
So leniency depends on which side you talk about. You follow?
Which way does the halacha go according to Hillel?
What?
The halacha, does it go according to Hillel?
According to Bet Hillel, halacha in the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel, the halacha is like Bet Hillel. But all this is a discussion to try to prove at the end what was the dilemma that the Gemara tried to prove. What happened if the woman Sotah, she was warned, she was secluded, can the husband withdraw or revoke the warning? So
You've got about 3 minutes left.
Yeah, but, listen, we won't be able to finish. It's quite complicated.
Yeah, it's nearly ending.
We opened the problem, and I suggest that you do some yourself. Try to see the continuation, and in Yirtzeh Hashem next week we will bring another meet again and we'll continue discussion. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rabbi,
thank you,
one
Rav.
question. Thank you. With the woman that's accused, the Sotah, so if she does drink and she survives, then she's proven that she's entitled to the ketubah.
If she died,
If she doesn't die, if she survives, she drinks the water and she survives, then she's proven her innocence, isn't it?
oh, so this is the question. Does she get the ksuba or doesn't she get the ksuba? Maybe there is no husband. So this is the question.
No, if the husband dies,
The husband died.
now we go according to Hillel that she
We're
must
talking
drink.
about the husband died. If they are
Now, if the husband dies, yes, correct. If the husband dies,
this is the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. If the husband died, can the wife still collect the ksuba from the estate or not?
now I understand, but what I'm saying is Hillel said, or the rabbis explained that if she has to prove her entitlement to the ketubah. So if she drinks the water and nothing happens to her.
But no, they're not drinking water if the husband is not around. If he died.
Okay.
Why? Because the whole drinking water is to see if the marriage can continue. But the husband, there's no purpose to drink.
Okay.
So it remains like in a doubt. Did she commit adultery or not?
But Rav,
On the other hand,
Rav,
there is
maybe
a
if
debt. The debt is still there. Does she get the ksuba or not?
But Rav, maybe she wants to drink the water to prove that she was not guilty. And by drinking the water, that proves that she's...
No, the Torah, the law does not permit her to drink after if there is no husband. There is a whole process. This drinking water we learned before, you have to actually mention the name of God, then it becomes you in vain and there is no purpose. So no drinking. If there is no husband, no drinking. Now what remains? Remains the question of the debt.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good Rosh Chodesh, Harav.
Everybody.
Shabbat Shalom, Rav.
In Yirtzeh Hashem, we'll meet again.
Please
And
God.
we should only hear בשורות טובות, good news. The heart
Right.
is so bleeding to hear every day a soldier, one or two killed or injured, etc.
Terrible. Yeah.
Okay.
Shabbat shalom.
Rabbi, on the Tuesday, I will not be able to join you as we are celebrating my birthday.
Mazal tov.
Are you well?
Mazal tov.
The,
Tuesday.
the may say, are you well, John?
I'm well. I say well, I'm celebrating my birthday with my daughter and her husband and my son.
Okay, so you're going to celebrate the birthday.
On Tuesday.
How old are you, if I may ask?
I told you, 92. I will be 92.
Oh, בלי עין
Well,
Continue long life with
Thank
good
you.
health. This is important. Then
Thank
that we should see you in the Shiur for many years later. That all of
Please
us will
God.
be, that all of us will be healthy and to be able to learn.
Amen.
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 So I'm closing.
Okay.
Okay.
John, Mazal
Thank
tov.
you, Rabbi.
Shabbat
Goodbye.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Mm.
Shalom.
All the best.